gonna get into this Kirk Franklin documentary that I saw the other day. Very interesting. It was touching. It was saddening. It was upsetting. It was mind-boggling. It really made you think. If you are a thinker, just wonder about certain things. I'll admit it was very dramatic, over dramatic, and cheesy at times. But I mean, hey, that's Kirk Franklin. If you know Kirk Franklin, if you know of Kirk Franklin, then you know that's him. But yeah, I wanted to get into it. Now, the other day, quick story. The other day I was at my parents' house and I made a little off the wall comment, trying to be a little funny, saying, I blame y'all for all this good middle class living that you provided me and my sister. Because it's a lot of stuff that people go through. And I can't really understand the effects. No. I can't really understand the way people handle situations, because I'm the type of person, the way I grew up, the way I was raised, the way I am, you have a problem, you find a way to fix it and you move on and get that out the way, because life is going to always throw things at you. Okay. Now, like I said, I told my parents I blame them for all this middle class, life living that me and my sister had, but it wasn't always like that. For me and my parents, it wasn't always like that. Now my sister, she ain't have to go through a whole lot. But I remember, being a little youngster, and I remember seeing, box of, was it powdered milk, government cheese, white boxes, with black letters of food, food stamp here and there, or them little coupons, whatever, little green little sticker stamps or whatever. I remember seeing that. Grew up in PG in the Grove, over there, Grove, started out in Grove Village. But my parents, they had an ethic, a work ethic that was instilled in them by their parents. And both my parents were from small little towns, one road. I think my mom had, her town had a one stoplight. I think Sun Gun still got one stoplight. My dad, I think, only had like a stop sign. But it still only have a stop sign. I don't think it has lights in the town still to this day. But anyway, they had an ethic, a work ethic of doing for self, not letting the man or whatever hold. No, in the South, racism, bigotry, it was here. It still is. But they found ways to, and they have many, brothers and many siblings. I think on my dad's side, it was, I want to say 7 or 8. And on my mom's side, there was 13 before him passed away before the age of like 13. So they went through things, but came out on top. Came to Dallas and grew. Both got college educations. Both had careers. Both retired. That's the type of stuff me and my sister saw. And we moved from apartment to a 1-bedroom to maybe a 2-bedroom, I think, whatever. Then duplex, and then a house, and then a 2-story house. And now they live on a nice little spread or whatever, retired. It is what it is. But, it took work, it took time, but eventually it happened. So that's what I'm saying. So understand where I'm coming from. So when I saw this Kirk Franklin documentary, I think it's called Father's Day, and I'm gonna read from blackenterprise.com, because they're gonna give a small little summary. But I want to put my take on it, because what's amazing about this documentary is not so much of the actual film, but some of the comments that I saw in the comment section, right? But let's do the Black Enterprise summary first, so y'all can, just in case y'all haven't seen it, so I can understand where I'm coming from, and then we'll get into it. So it says here, Kirk Franklin discovered a long-held secret in a recent documentary titled Father's Day, the same as his upcoming album, film was released to the Gospel Singers YouTube channel on September 15th. Now, like I said, I saw it. It's about half an hour, give or take, a few minutes, and it's compelling. It's compelling to watch. I would advise. Now, I won't say I'm not a Kirk Franklin fan. You know, I've listened to his songs. I like some of his songs. I didn't know the dude had so many albums and won so many Grammys. I know he's had problems and issues, his own personal demons that he had to go through. And you say, oh man, Kirk Franklin, he acting like he all holier than thou, but he got problems with his son. He got problems used to be with, addiction to, the finance and adult entertainment. But that's just life, man. People go through it. You look back on it, it's like, shoot, we all got problems. So why is he any less than, be taken any less serious right? Franklin decided to document the journey behind the scenes as shared in conversation with people. However, as the recording session started, the songwriter discovered who he thought was his father was not the man responsible for bringing him into the world, lived relatively close to where he grew up. So to stop composing, tell that he didn't have an easy adopted by the older woman in his community after his young mother struggled to raise a child. The musician believed for years that another man was his birth dad, as both parents would be inconsistent figures in his life before he became famous. So let me go back, kind of expound on this a little bit. You say the man lived relatively close. Now he said that, he was just minutes from where the man grew up. He said his son played in a house adjacent to where this man lived, younger son. He didn't know this man was his father. Well, in the documentary, I know he said he hadn't seen his mother in like 20 years. They had a very tumultuous relationship. And you can kind of, when you watch the documentary, you kind of understand why he has the issues with his son. Because he doesn't know how to deal with people, loving them. And he said it himself. So the way him and his son interacts, it's just a direct, what they say, it's like generation. Call it a curse if you want to. But it just makes sense that, because I remember there was a young lady when he was younger who said that she was going to have a kid, she was going to be, a better mom than what her mom was. Not going to be nothing like her mom, she's going to be different. And the first thing I thought was, and this is like I said when we was young, and I thought was, how is that possible when that's all you know? You can look at my parents and see something different than your parents. And you may say that, well, I'm going to do my kids like the way your mother and father did you. But if you don't know, all you see is them at church or going to functions. Or when you see them, they talking all nice and, sweet and everything, Leave It to Beaver, Ward Cleaver, stuff like that type, let me say Cosby Show type, settings or whatever. But you don't know behind the scenes how they got like that, why they got like that, the things. Because, my mom, she used to be a hellraiser back in the day. I've said this before. She could curse, she could do some mean things, but as time got on, she seemed like she evolved, understood life. But as a youngster, she was just a young mother, a young parent. And parenting is not easy. There's no one book to tell you how to parent, man. It's a job. It's a struggle. But anyway, so I say, how you gonna be somebody that you know nothing about? And eventually, exactly as they got older with the kids, a lot of the traits that her mother displayed towards her, she displayed toward her own kids. So, like I'm saying, it's kind of hard. So you only can do what you know. Now but everything else you have to learn. You have to incorporate it in your life. You have to actually seek out the knowledge and the wisdom and on how to do certain things in order to become a better person. Period. Whether it's raising kids, whether it's being a wife, whether it's being a husband, whether it's starting a career, you have to go out and learn. If not, You're gonna always be the same person, and you got to be able to embrace the knowledge. If not, you're just gonna be the same person that you know, and it's just gonna go down to the next generation until somebody makes a change. Anyway, so that's what the okay. So anyway, about that, let's say what else. Let's say grew up close. Some close that he didn't have easy. He didn't have an easy life. So he's saying, talking about how time he didn't have food, he was homeless, begging for food. I mean, he had a rough life. Like I said, I don't want to tell the whole thing in detail. You need to watch it, like seriously watch it. He was told another man was his dad. I know they said that he buried the man that he thought was his father. A few years back, come to find out that it's not. So let's keep going. Franklin inadvertently discovered his birth father after hiring a musician from his hometown. Now that's what's interesting. They say everything in the dark comes to light, man. I used to tell my kids things that you get in trouble for. The reason you get in trouble for some things has nothing to do with what you got in trouble for, which may not make sense, but my point is you could do something and hide all the evidence, seal everything, think you got it set. Say, okay, I'm gonna make sure that this doesn't happen, so this is not found out. But way over here on the other side of the world, something is brewing, and it's coming. There's a storm coming, and somebody or something will be introduced into your world, into the atmosphere, to where somehow what you thought nobody knew about or thought was hidden comes out. So say it goes to a funeral of, I believe, an aunt or some family member, and this person comes up and says or tells them, hey, that's something I need to tell you, and he's like, what? Said this, there's belief or something. I think he said that your mom, he just said that your mom dated this guy over, and he's like, what? Okay. And they said, but there's always been rumors that was his real father, but he knew nothing about it. Kirk Franklin's in his mid 50s, understand, okay? And he knew nothing about this man was being his father. That may have, but he said he looking at him and they looking at each other and they thinking, man, this man may just be your dad, right? So like I say, it's amazing that out of nowhere, somebody says, hey, this is something you may want to know. Okay, it says the potential father, Richard Hubbard, was willing to submit a DNA sample to confirm the parentage and also happened to be a long-time member of the community in which the gospel singer was raised. And I heard he's like a counselor, like an addiction counselor or something. So he's like well known in the community. And an on-camera reveal by a doctor confirmed that Hubbard was indeed his father, fulfilling a lifelong wish for Franklin to know his true identity. See, parents, mothers, here's something you have to understand. All your decisions that you make affect your children so much. You have no idea. You think kids don't know. You think kids don't see. I've seen many kids, I've heard many kids tell their mama's business. And I mean, they be young kids, 3, like 4, 5, 7, 9 years old. And they're just innocent. They don't know no, quote unquote, know no better. But they tell all the business that go on in the house, all the stuff that mama do, like nothing. Like, barely cook, barely clean, barely go to work, sit around, smoke, drink all day, hang out with the girls, whatever the case may be. Men coming in and out the house, different boyfriends, meeting, stuff like that. Children tell their parents, but the parents think that the kids don't know no better. They're gonna sit there and lie to them, tell them some kind of bullcorn. Kids know. Kids understand. They know what don't feel right. Unless you groom them so much to where they think it's the norm, then after a while they forget what should and shouldn't happen. But in the back of their mind, they understand. Like I say, your decisions, kids are affected from Jump Street. So you can sit here, yeah, you might have made a choice, a decision. Young, had sex with somebody, had a kid, okay. But instead of stopping that mess up or that error in judgment right there, continue to perpetuate the lie, telling this guy that somebody else is a father, or you can't raise a kid, so okay, you put them up for adoption. All right, that's understandable, but you still trying to, and this is one of them stories why, when you watch this story, this is one of the stories why I believe they make it to where a lot of the kids who are in orphanages or who are adopted not know their biological parents. But the problem is, kids want to know who their mother and or father are. They just do. And when I say kids or children, I mean, hell, even grown folk. Again, Kirk Franklin's 53 years old, and he still wanted to know. And when he found out, the man still bust out bawling and crying. So, I mean, that's what I say. When you have kids, your life is over, but not so in a negative way. It's your focus needs to be on the well-being of your children, so they can have a quote-unquote better life than you had. Not saying they don't need to understand hard work, dedication, learning how to live in society, but the stuff that you went through, you were supposed to make sure that they don't suffer that same fate. Upon meeting Hubbard, who unknowingly became a father as a young teenager, Franklin referred to his dad as a great guy. Revelation led to Franklin to a renewed relationship with his strange son. Now, y'all remember like a year or so ago, it was a whole big thing that Kirk Franklin and his son was going back and forth on the phone, and the son, like a little broad, and his son hit 30s, recorded him, and they going back and forth, cussing and fussing, all that kind of stuff. But again, Kirk Franklin pretty much, he said he goes to therapy, pretty much had to understand that, man, look, the trauma that he went through as a child, it's just manifesting as an adult, and he wants to try to break the cycle. It's never too late. Kirk, 53 years old, but I'm looking at this summary, and one thing I do not see, and this is the point I really want to get to in this video, is that this dude's mother lied and continues to lie about who his father is. This guy has a DNA test, shows it to his aunt, who he has an estranged relationship with the whole side of the family. Just bullcrap. And you can tell the way she talked to him, she, ain't got no respect for men, period. He shows his mother the DNA test. She says the test is a lie. She says something is wrong with it. Swore on her dead mama's grave, dead mama's life, that man was not his father. They all went back and got a second DNA test. Brother Franklin, his father Hubbard, and his mom. And it came back with the same results. And this woman still sat there and lied. And said there's no way that this man could be your father. And they had the nerve to ask him, will this drive a wedge between the two of us? And he said flat out yes. And she sat there and started crying and saying, I just wanted my son, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 and crying. And I'm sitting here looking like, heifer, shut up. Go somewhere. Because this woman has to be at least, let's see, if he's 53, let's say 10, 63, 13. So she had to be at least in her late 60s on up. And still going to die with this lie. Now, what y'all say, believe all women, right? But I don't see a whole lot of people trying to condemn her. What I saw was people saying, why is he calling her out, putting her out in her like this in public? Man, you got to. You have to. This is why we continue to have the problems that we have, because things go on in our communities and we don't address them. We're afraid people are going to judge us by the choices that we made, instead of saying, look, this is some real stuff. This is happening far too often. You see it on videos on YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that, where guys are, You see guys like get DNA tests of their kids, and then they go and give it to the mother, and they find out that he finds out that that's not his child. It ain't just some Maury Povich stuff. I worked at a hospital. I worked at a VA where I know like there was a veteran there, and that dude said that he had a bunch of kids, an old man too, and found out one day that like 5 out of 6 of the kids were not his. I like say you see it on here the paternity test show where these people come up there and they think and the woman flat out will sit there and swear to the heavens that man sitting next to her over there on the other side is the child's father. The test come out and he's not the father. You know, you see, and then she say, "Oh well, I think I know who it is." Heifer, you knew who it was in the beginning. And so I did a video about over in Africa where they're starting to, you know, saying that DNA tests need to be provided. But no. Christian people telling people don't take a DNA test because it's destroying lives. The life was destroyed the moment that woman told that lie and continues to tell that lie. And you see it. The guy give a woman a test and she be like, "This can't be right. There's something wrong with this. No, this is wrong. This ain't." No, it's not. It is not wrong. This is the truth. Undisputed truth. Let's go get another test. People go get 2 tests, 3 tests. And the stuff still comes back the same. But that woman will sit there and lie to that child. Do you not understand how that is going to affect Kirk Franklin? And he's in his, like I said, in his 50s. And he still cannot get an honest answer from his birth mother. But y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all want to know why he out here like that in public. It's kind of like when a dude say, "Hey, I went through your phone and saw that you was texting and sending nude pics and making videos with this dude, you know, catching you cheating." You know what the woman gonna say? "I can't believe you went through my phone. Why would you do something like that?" Like, hold up. You wait a minute. You wait a minute. You missing the point. You kind of the conversation. Heifer, what you got caught cheating. Woman, you got caught lying. Why are we going to get away from the actual issue with this doggone me story? The man's mother will lie until she died. Now we say that all the time as men. Man, look at her. You get caught and your woman catch you or something like that. You say that ain't me. And she can bring you a video. You say that ain't me. It don't care if they have scientific, undisputed proof. You deny that until you die. I mean, we just say that because we try to be funny. You know what I'm saying? We don't, because it's like tongue in cheek. It's not serious. I mean, something like that happened. I mean, how you gonna deny it? I mean, come on now. Let's be serious. But then you find somebody like this who actually got doggone. Is gonna sit here and tell this lie till she die. There are a lot of people out there who are full of crap, including women. Look at her. Y'all gotta get y'all stuff. Y'all gotta understand, like I said, this stuff affects kids a lot. You're continuing a cycle that needs to be broken. That can be simply broken. Just by telling the truth. We all make choices. We do things that we shouldn't do. We be kids. We try to have, you know, sexual relations with people like we grown, knowing doggone well, no, that we shouldn't be. Then we mess around and catch, you know, STDs, or we mess around and have babies. And we looking like, oh my God, we messed up. What was I thinking? But then once we get through it, we go back and do the same dumb crap, dumb results. And we wondering like, what they call it, insanity, keep doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result. You got to be crazy as hell. And that's the way a lot of our people are. And this is why, like I said, yeah, he should have called out. And yes, call out in public, because, you know, if there was a woman who was, let's say, assaulted, you would want that man, you would want this woman, or she was being physically abused at home, something she has little control over, how somebody else's actions toward her. You want her to tell her story if she was being violated by her dad, stepdad, or whatever, some man that her mother brought in the house. You want her to tell that story so that everyone else can come out and, hey, let me tell my story and all that, you know. So you can say, hey, I'm not the only one who went through it. You're not the only one who went through it. We all go through it too. Okay, that's fine. But when it's something where a woman actually does something herself that is wrong to her children or to anybody else, now you don't want that to be told. You don't want that to be put out there. Now you want to condemn and get mad at Kirk Franklin because he put the truth out there. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is, right? We have got to stop condoning this behavior. And yes, when you say nothing, you condone it. I'm not condemning her for having a child when she was too young. She made a choice. She realized, either with her or her family, whoever realized that she couldn't take care of this boy, so she gave him up for adoption. It happens. You make choices. When you realize that you can't handle it, you do something to try to make the situation better for those vulnerable people that are involved, including yourself, if at all possible. That's what you do. But at this age, like I say, either in her late 60s on up, she might be 70, hell, she might be in her 80s, I don't know. At some point, you have to stop the madness and come to grips with what you did, what happened, so that your child can, I guess what she gonna do, die and then on her deathbed tell the truth? That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. This man has had an estranged relationship with his son, but he said he has he goes to counseling and been going for a while, so he's doing what he can to try to make things right, better. But because you continue to lie about it, it's affecting. It's affecting. And it's like, it seems like the people in these comments, and most of them women, don't care. They're more worried about how they look. And that's the only way, that's the only thing I can think of, that she just want to make sure she still save face. Like, oh, I got to start with this lie, I got to continue this lie. So, no, that's not your dad. I don't care what the kids say, they lying. People, the man is after me. It's a conspiracy. Man, whatever, man. Whatever. But anyway, y'all, tell me what you think about this story. Yes, his mother, I try to respect my elders, but you got to call it out, and you got to call despicable out, and that's what she is. She's just a despicable woman for doing this to her boy. You want a relationship with him? Start the real healing. Start telling the truth. Those of you with little children, understand your children see the error of your ways, change your life, put them number one like they're supposed to be. Raise them. You chose to have them. Raise them. If you can't do it, shoot, give them up. Hell, they're gonna hate you anyway. So just give them up. No, I don't say that. But they're gonna despise you anyway for things that you could have done that you didn't do, that you chose not to do because of your selfish behavior. Just go on, like to put them up for adoption. See if a family member will take them. Something. But do what's best for that child. And then go on about your married life. And be selfish like you always want to know. Continue to be selfish and let that child live. Let them know everything they need to know and move on with their life. But we got to do better. We got to do better. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story, y'all. Leave the comments below and then share it with the world. With that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I will see you on the other side.